Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Friday. This is a little bit of an impromptu stream here, but look, I had to jump on because there's just so much crazy stuff going on in the news. And of course, I just couldn't help myself. Let's get the chat box up here going. First of all, I've been offline for a little bit because I have a baby. And, newborn life is wild. I'm the happiest that I've ever been. But if you hear a cry in the background and I have to get off, as Tupac would say, that's just the way it is. But look, in the last 2 weeks, there's now a war in Iran. I just want to set the record straight. I think this is absolutely ridiculous. I voted for no wars. I wanted no more senseless wars. I don't agree with any of the stuff that's going on. That being said, we're going to look at a couple of weird things that have now happened since the war started in Iran. And of course, since the war started in Iran, what do you know? The interest in the Epstein files has completely fallen off. And that's really a shame because it feels as though the people that are responsible and are heavily involved in the Epstein files are also the people that are calling the shots to go to war. And so it feels as though they would rather distract you, the public, with war than arrest people and hold them accountable for the Epstein files and for their wrongdoings in those files. And we know that there is a lot. That being said, I also had read that the statute of limitation was also up for those wrongdoings, for the trafficking, for the abuse with kids. So I don't know that anybody would be prosecuted anyways. But speaking of Epstein, there's something that I want to show you. And I just want to say the Moto Cat 1K, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. You guys, there is new video circulating online today of a guy in South Florida that just happened to catch a Jeffrey Epstein lookalike driving around in a convertible, in a pop top, right? Wearing a backwards hat. We obviously had seen the photos of the doppelganger of Jeffrey Epstein in Israel with security guards. This one is really, really bizarre. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is slow-mo of the video. It's a guy driving. Oh, hopefully this isn't on the camera. Look at that. Unbelievable. Striking resemblance. Very, very odd. Now, of course, if you ask Grok, if you ask AI, is this Jeffrey Epstein? Of course, we know what the answer is. No, of course it's not Jeffrey Epstein because Jeffrey Epstein died in 2019 in a jail cell in New York City, you guys. So stop even trying to think otherwise. Now, I will say, is this a lookalike? Without a doubt, it's a lookalike. Is it Jeffrey Epstein? It'd be pretty brazen if it was. Right? In South Florida, just driving around, not trying to hide it at all. But then when you think about the way that these disgusting elites have been acting, they really aren't trying to hide anything anyways. And I saw a hilarious comment that made me think quite deeply about this. If the narrative is that Jeffrey Epstein is dead and that they confirmed it using DNA, supposedly, that they confirmed it with the jail cell, that it was confirmed in an autopsy. There's no way, even if it's a spitting image, Jeffrey Epstein dropped down driving through South Florida, they would, what, you can arrest a dead guy? No, they're not going to have you do that. That is the weirdest thing. That's the most bizarre thing. That would never happen. But I do find it odd that there's all these lookalikes. And I have to say, if they are just lookalikes, dye your hair. You want to be walking around looking like the number one pedo of the century right now? I mean, if I looked like that guy, if that's not Jeffrey Epstein, and I'm driving around, like, please dye my hair black, shave my head, do something. But wild, absolutely wild. And you know what else is wild? Yesterday, there was a video of Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, doing a press conference addressing the world about the war in Iran. Okay? And if you weren't here when I said this earlier, I do not support these endless, senseless wars. I'm against war. I'm a pacifist. This is ridiculous. And now there's rumors that we might reenact the draft and we're sending troops and what is going on? I really feel like we're in Stranger Things. We are living in the upside down world. Why in the world would we be sending our children overseas for what? And I'm sure I'll get into this a lot when James and I are back on the Today Show, but it's just absolutely ludicrous. But what I want to show you is this video that was posted of Benjamin Netanyahu, and he's addressing the nation. He says some weird shit, ladies and gentlemen. He says some weird shit. But after review, people have noticed that he has 6 fingers in this video. This video is clearly AI, and I'm going to play this video for you in just a second. But I just want to say that there are many reasons that the video could be AI. I'm not going to lie to you. There are rumors that have been swirling for days that Benjamin Netanyahu is dead. Now, do I know that to be true? No, I don't. Of course I don't. Who knows? There's a lot of rumors swirling. Jeffrey Epstein's in South Florida. Now, a reason Benjamin Netanyahu would use AI is so that he could keep his location secret during this time of war. So that is very possible. But if you see my cursor right here circling, you will notice, count the fingers, there are 6. Watch this.
שמשנים את מאזן הכוחות במזרח התיכון וגם מעבר לו.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I don't know when people are sprouting extra limbs, ladies and gentlemen, but it's AI for sure. Now, again, the reason it's AI could be a lot of different reasons, but a lot of people find that to be suspect, and they find that to be very odd, very strange. And what I will say is that, from what I understand, the mainstream media is downplaying what is going on in the Middle East. And of course, the narrative is America's winning, America's the best, America and Israel are just giving it to Iran. They don't stand a chance. I have heard of other points of view from family members that have relatives in these countries. And, you're not seeing a lot of footage coming from Israel. So who knows what's really going on there unless you are on the ground. But people will respond and they will say, there's a live footage of Tel Aviv and nothing is happening. And I just have to say, have you ever seen Silo on HBO? Anybody? Bueller? Silo on HBO is a dystopian TV show where we nuked ourselves on Earth, and there's a small portion of the population that are living underground in these silos because the air is poisonous. But they have an ongoing stream of what it looks like outside. And guess what? It's fake. It's a Truman Show. And isn't all of this kind of seeming more and more like the Truman Show? I'm not saying that the war is fake. Absolutely not. I think it's the same greedy ass, warmongering neocons. Get Lindsey Graham out of the closet, send him away, send him on the ground. These disgusting people that are stoking hatred and evil when we should be leading with peace and diplomacy. I'm a little tired. But of course we're not. But it does feel like we're in the Truman Show in many ways. It truly does. And one of the ways it feels like we're in the Truman Show, I don't know if you guys saw this the other day, and I didn't think this show was going to be, hey, look what I've found. Tell me if you think this is Jeffrey Epstein. Tell me if you think that Benjamin Netanyahu has 6 fingers. Tell me if you think that the Gerber baby is Secret Service. President Trump at a gas station, a Chevron 2 days ago. Somebody filmed this and they caught this Secret Service agent. Okay. Who the fuck is this child for Secret Service, y'all? Who is this? Okay. And somebody, look at this baby face. What are we doing? 12, 18, okay? 22. Either way, even if you are a young 25, you don't have the record. Wearing Ray-Bans? Come on. It feels Truman Show-esque. And there's Trump waving. Oh, hello. Yes, yes, yes. And I'm really disenchanted with all of the things that we have seen. Maybe the word is disillusioned. You guys probably saw the Jim Carrey lookalike. Everybody said it's Jim Carrey, and it turned out to be like a costume actor. Insane. Insane, right? I'll pull that up for you guys in case you haven't seen it. But my point is this costume actor looked just like Jim Carrey. And so how do we really even know who is playing these characters? Who is playing Trump? Who is in that car? Who is... Here we go. Here's the Jim Carrey. Who are these people really? We've got AI going on. We've got actors all over the place. And look how realistic this Jim Carrey looks, of course, except his eye color is wrong. Oh. Okay, that was not the one I wanted to show you. Let's see if we can go back and find the other one. Here we go. This is it. People were saying, this is not Jim Carrey. And then there was a makeup actor that came out and said, yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't Jim Carrey. And people were saying the eye color is not the same. And look, we saw this with Biden. We saw this with Biden for 4 years. I am just at the point now where I really believe we're living in a WWE. I believe that all of this is staged. And part of the reason I think that it's staged is that they want to constantly have fear-provoking incidences to fuck up our vibrations. Because as humans, I really believe in energy. I really believe in vibrations. I believe that if you are at peace and you are vibrating love and you are vibrating compassion, that it is difficult for the evil in this world to compromise you. But they're able to do it when they stoke fear through these different psyops, these different wars, through COVID. We're bombing here. We're doing this. If we all disconnected from the internet, if we just didn't pay attention to the government and the governments of the world, I truly wonder if we didn't buy in, what would happen? I believe they need that buy-in. It's like the Monsters, Inc. movie, right? When the kids scream, they bottle that shit up and they feed off of it. And I think that plays into the spiritual war that is at play right now. I've been saying this for years and years and years. I believe we are in a spiritual war. I believe it is good versus evil. And it has never been more obvious than right now. And as a Christian who supports everybody's religious freedom, I am truly, truly disgusted at this next clip that I'm going to show you of Ted Cruz saying that if you say Christ is king, that it is anti-Semitic. I don't know what the fuck is going on, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't. But it is bizarro, and it reminds me of COVID. You're not allowed to say that the vaccines don't work. You're not allowed to say that you don't believe in lockdowns. You're not allowed to say get healthy, get vitamin D. And now all of a sudden, they're censoring my religious freedom and they're trying to censor my freedom of speech again. And for those of you that have been with me starting back in 2023 on TikTok when I first got started, World for Freedom. I started WFF News because I believe in freedom and I hated the way that it was being stripped and taken away from us during COVID. It was bizarro. It was insane. And now they're doing it in a different way. And I find this to be super, super odd. Let's go ahead and listen to Ted Cruz. This is last night. This is absurd. This is absurd. Watch this.
Although it is being used online in a way that is meant to say, screw you, Jew. It is being used in a context very directly to say, I hate Jews, and that's almost an online code word. Christ is king is, I hate the Jew.
Is that your view, or why do you say that?
Because you see the people who are saying it, and they're saying it in that context. They're saying Jews are horrible, good, like they're attacking Jews, and they end with Christ is king. To make it sound like somehow there's a biblical basis for attacking Jews. Look, Jesus was a Jew. And by the way, the twisted theology that says Jews are Christ killers, and that's been used to justify anti-Semitism, to justify persecution and murder. Look, as I read the Gospels, Jesus went to the cross willingly. He made the choice to go to the cross, and it was not the Jews who killed Jesus. It was me. It was you. Look, Jesus died for our sins because man is fallen and the wages of sin is death. And Jesus took on the punishment that you deserve and I deserve so that we could be covered in his blood and receive salvation, not through works, not through what we do, but through the gift of God.
Okay. I just want to make it very clear that I have full utmost respect for Jews. Some of my best friends are Jews. I have relatives that are Jewish. I have Jewish heritage. I'm a Christian. Okay. And when I say Christ is king, that is because that is what I believe. That is what the Bible teaches me. And that is in no way anti-Semitic. And I am not going to be gaslit by Ted Cruz's obscure interpretation of the Bible to try and keep me from saying Christ is king. And I have to go back to Kanye West. One of the greatest albums that he ever did, okay, is Christ is King. That's one of the greatest albums, in my opinion, that ever existed. What happened after Kanye West was doing those Joel Osteen, was doing those Coachella Sunday services where he's getting people to worship Jesus, where he had an album dedicated to Christ is King? He was vilified. He was made crazy. You were told he's bipolar, he's this, he's that. And by the way, he went away and he came back looking like that Jim Carrey, that Joe Biden. I don't know who he is, where he is, what's going on. And I've said that from the very beginning. Didn't Candace Owens also get fired from the Daily Wire for saying Christ is king? Why in the world would I be told that I'm doing something negative by saying Christ is king? Why? It's very, very weird. It's very, very weird. It's like when I was told I'm disrespectful if I don't use pronouns. No, sorry. I'm not going to be gaslit into this. And yeah, I know this is live. This is going to be on YouTube. And I'm going to keep it up. I'm going to keep it up because I believe that all of us, regardless of your religion, Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, Christian, Catholic, Hindu, I believe this is a fight of the light versus the dark. I believe this is the good versus the evil. This is every Harry Potter movie. This is every Star Wars movie. And all of the good people in all of those religions can be on the same time. But no one's going to tell me that saying Christ is king is against somebody else. Okay? It is not. It is very bizarre that he's going out here and he's starting this narrative. And people got to stand up. People got to stand up and say, oh, hell no. Thank you guys for being with me. And I'm curious how you guys feel. Lit Hill. I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm trying to zoom in here. So anyways, I think that's very, very odd. I think that's very, very odd behavior. And it's very COVID reminiscent. And I think that's why it provokes me so much. If you guys have been with me for years, on my lives, on my TikTok lives, would always say a prayer. And I would say, in God's name, I pray, amen, because I wanted to include everybody in that prayer, not just people that practice the same religion as me. I'm very inclusive in that. But I'm also not going to allow Ted Cruz, a puppet, to tell me what I can and cannot say. Lith, then lith backwards, lol. Okay, so, you got me there. Once quantum, good shall prevail. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. So, anyways, bizarre stuff going on. And I just pray for peace. Every single day I pray for peace. I do not want troops on the ground. I do not want war. I want peace. And I think that that's the message for now. I think we need to get back to the Epstein files. I think that we all need to be speaking out against this war. And it's truly shocking to me, some people that are actually for this war. Why? It makes absolutely no sense to me. And so I'm for peace. I think there's a way that we can hopefully turn this around. I'm a hopeless optimist. But I thank you guys so much for being here with me. I know this was a quick live. I just wanted to get on. And the MotoCat one, thank you so much for the love and the congratulations. I feel like Love Island, right? I'm a mommy now. I'm a mamacita. And because of that, I now have a deeper understanding of the world. I now have a different perspective of the world. And part of that perspective is really focused on protecting the youth, protecting this next generation, protecting Mother Earth, protecting peace, protecting our world for children around the world. And so that's where I'm at. That's where I'm going to continue to go. I want to try to be on the right side of history and not just go with the flow and be on this team or that team. I'm on team good. I'm on team light. I want to heal, unite, and fight for the light. So thank you guys so much for being here. I'm going to hop off, but I'll be back on soon. God bless you. Praying for peace on earth, praying for your health and well-being, praying for your positivity, praying for your families, for your loved ones, and just praying that all of us can unite and fight these evil grasshoppers, right? We're the ants. Put the mockingjay up, right? We got to blow the whistle, not like Too Short, but the mockingjay whistle, okay? And, unite for freedom and healing. So we're going to try to keep doing that. Love you guys. God bless you. Christ is king. And whatever you believe is great too, but I'm not going to be vilified and I'm not going to have my freedom of speech censored. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Love ya. Bye.